My name is Gavin Evans, and this is my ranking of Rian Johnson's filmography from worst to best. And this video will have spoilers, so there's your warning. But I do not like Rian Johnson. In fact, I would say he is one of, if not the most overrated director working in Hollywood today. He's heavy-handed, his politics get in the way of his stories, he's not as smart as he thinks he is, and I just find lots of the movies here to be really boring. But I will give him some credit. I appreciate the attempt to subvert expectations, and I like how he tries to give his audiences something they're not expecting. It's just the execution falls flat more often than not. Like, in some ways, he's the anti-Neil Druckmann because they're both liberal, they both like to subvert expectations, but Neil Druckmann is a master, and Rian Johnson most certainly is not. So, let's begin by talking about his worst movie, and it's The Brothers Bloom. And I watched this movie earlier this year, and I forgot everything about it. It has Adrian Brody, Rachel Weisz, Mark Ruffalo. That's it. That's all I've got. Just a really bland, forgettable, boring movie. It's his worst. His second worst one is, sorry guys, I know you seem to love it, but it's Wake Up Dead Man. Okay. I appreciate some of what this movie is trying to do. You know, there was one really great scene where Judd's talking on the phone to this lady, and he's in a hurry, he wants to hang up, but then it turns into a really powerful moment, and I kind of loved that. There's one scene where Judd's talking about how he's got to turn himself in out of his free will because it's something he believes in. And I like some of the ideas here with Josh Brolin's character, aka Trump, just being a hateful person and how his followers will defend him no matter what. But I didn't really find this movie to be about anything. There's individual moments, but as a whole, it just fell completely flat for me. I don't like how this movie paints every conservative as an over-the-top cartoon and using that portrayal to make a generalization. I don't like how this movie talks about how Christians or Catholics can't push back against good ideas. The movie says they should be kind and sympathetic and compassionate, and yes, I agree with that, but it also seems to look down on the idea of them pushing back against the world and evil that exists, and no, absolutely not. And I feel like if, this movie had liberals as the bad guys and conservatives as the good guy, Rian Johnson wouldn't agree with what he has to say here. So I definitely feel like this movie falls under the trappings of the political beliefs of the filmmaker. But it's also just a really boring movie. Like, it's 2 hours and 25 minutes long, and I felt every minute. I was so unengaged. You've got Mila Kunis and Thomas Hayden Church and Dale McCormick, Jeffrey Wright, Andrew Scott, so many talented actors just given nothing to do. They try to give Benoit Blanc this character arc where he comes to understand why people need religion. And I don't really feel like this part of the movie was well done. It's like he has this one worldview, at the end he has this different worldview, but the bridge just isn't there. Glenn Close, some people think she should be nominated for Best Supporting Actress. I'm sorry, I'm just on a complete disconnect with everyone regarding every movie this year, it seems like. No, absolutely not. Whole performance is flat. It's nothing good. And I found the mystery to be absolutely retarded. Like, okay, the flask was poisoned and he removed it, and then the blood wasn't actually blood, but then he kills the guy, and there's this jewel, and we're going to make it look like a resurrection. I don't know. All this stuff was just convoluted, and it dragged the movie down. The big reveal in a movie like this should tie together all the themes, but I feel like the ending missed the mark, and as a result, this movie just feels so empty. So, some moments, I like Josh Connell enough here, but yeah, it really sucked. His third worst movie is Glass Onion, and this movie is so annoying. Like, the opening 10 minutes, just the way the characters talk drove me nuts. I found it to be very heavy handed, and it just kind of cheats in a very uninteresting way. Like, oh, who's the actress? Is it Janelle Monáe? I think it's Janelle Monáe. Yeah, Janelle Monáe. Okay, yeah, okay, I got it right. Okay. She's like one character, but then it turns out she's actually her twin, and she knows about all this stuff. The way the movie goes about it is just, it cheated. It's not interesting. It doesn't add any new layers to the story. It's just a surprise for the sake of it. And oh, Edward Norton's the bad guy. Like, obviously, that would have been my first guess when I saw the cast list. Yeah, I'm trying to think of any positives actually. There's if I remember correctly, there's like this drink and someone takes a different drink, and like you can't catch it on a first viewing, but if you rewatch it, you can see that going on. And I do like Edward Norton's performance. And I do kind of like how he wanted to be mentioned in the same breath as the Mona Lisa, and now he will because it's destroyed because of him. Yeah, but it still really sucks. His fourth worst movie is... I do have a very long review for this movie coming out in April, or maybe May, I believe. And it's... hold on. It's not actually that long. It's 16 minutes. But I have a lot to say about Star Wars The Last Jedi. Okay, the movie looks great. The movie sounds great. The Horder maneuver is a really great moment, and I do like the throne room scene. Everything else in this movie sucks. I hate the Poe and Horder storyline. There's a similar idea here as in Wake Up Dead Man, where Poe shouldn't want to fight back against evil. I just fundamentally disagree with that. And then there's no reason why Horder couldn't fill him in certain details, and they tried to villainize Poe. I thought everything with Finn and Rose was annoying, and I hate that scene where Finn tries to sacrifice himself, but she won't let him. Canterbite sucks. Rey's a really bland character. Luke Skywalker, the dude who believed his dad, Darth Vader, aka Space Hitler, still had good in him, and then almost tries to kill his nephew because of a couple seconds of doubt. I'm sorry, no cohesion, no consistency, a complete betrayal of the character. Kylo Ren has some interesting moments, but by the end he's a big crybaby. The climax of this movie sucks, and Luke's death lacks any bit of emotional weight. And yeah, I hate this sequel trilogy with every bone in my body. Like, it's sad, but Carrie Fisher is gone now. You had one shot to get this story right, and they just butchered it. I do like the fact that he tries to make Rey's parents into nobodies, but it is undone in the sequel, and I know it's not Rian Johnson's fault, but still. I do like the final shot of this movie with the Broom Kid. But yeah, I really hate this movie. His fifth worst movie is Brick. I don't like this movie at all. Like, it's kinda of a neat idea to set a film noir in um, a high school, but its execution, it is bland, it is boring, and to be frank, I don't like film noirs, and this movie did nothing to change my mind. I've seen it twice now, and I couldn't tell you a single thing about the actual story. I know it's not really the same kind of movie, but if you want a better mystery like this, I'd recommend The Kid Detective. Great movie. Okay, now we get to the movies I actually like, and number 2 is Loophole. Now, Joseph Gordon-Levitt gives a great performance. I like Bruce Willis. I love Emily Blunt. And Paul Dano. He does a pretty decent job here. Jeff Daniels, it's really well acted, and I kind of like how minimalist the movie is. Like, it's a sci-fi future, but it still feels kind of grounded, and it's just a really refreshing take. I like the main story. I like some of the ideas it's trying to explore about who you are, who you end up as, about fate, about changing your path, about gaining sympathy for other people. There's good ideas present, and Seth's death scene is Rian Johnson's best moment as a director. That scene is kind of terrifying, and it's really well done. But I still kind of find this movie to be bland at points, and it's definitely too long. At 2 hours, it should have been tightened up to 90 minutes, and you would have a much better movie. But his best movie is the first Knives Out. Now, this movie is trying to make a point about how American people are lazy and pathetic and awful, but immigrants are great people and they deserve every good thing coming their way. And I don't really like that generalization at all. I don't really agree with the points he's trying to make, but as its own story, it is really well done. Ana de Armas's performance here is so good, and she is the heart and soul of this movie. Daniel Craig as Benoit Blanc in this movie was refreshing and funny and entertaining. Chris Evans is really over the top. Michael Shannon doesn't really have much to do, but he still has some funny lines. You've got Jamie Lee Curtis, Toni Collette, Catherine Langford, Jaden Martell, Lakeith Stanford. What's his name? It's not Bradley Whitford. Don Johnson? Is that it? I think it's... Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to say yeah. You got some great actors. They don't really have much to work with, but I do like the far aesthetic of this movie. And I really do think this one is actually brilliant. The way it starts off as a typical whodunit, and then it transitions into this movie about this girl who gets everything from this one dude. Oh, Christopher Plummer. And then it transitions back into a whodunit at the end. It's really well done. Like, the movie's constantly progressing in new, interesting ways, and I do like how the movie shifts focus, and there's some tension. It's funny. You don't really know what to think of any of the characters for a while, and yeah, like, I really do love so much of this movie, and I do find it to have a beating heart. When Benoit Blanc tells Marta that she did nothing wrong because she's a good nurse, it hits you in the feels. And the final shot of her drinking from the cup, and it's like my house. Yeah, and anyways, it's a really pitch perfect final shot, and oh, what's that song? It's a Rolling Stones song that just fits the scene so incredibly well. Yeah, I just love this movie. It's a movie I could rewatch any day. It's very entertaining. It's Rian Johnson at his very best because this is when his subversion of expectations and even some of the political stuff does make for a good movie. Great movie, even. So, yes, Knives Out is obviously his best. But what's your ranking? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more videos soon. And Gavin out.